Hello, my name is Lance Getch, and I am your technical agronomist in East Central Iowa for DeKalb and Asgrow. And today I want to talk to you about uneven emergence in corn and how that can affect yield. And that's really important right now due to the potential cold weather that we have coming in here over the next few days. And a lot of farmers are pretty anxious on getting some corn in the ground, especially towards the middle of this week. And I just want to touch on what uneven emergence can mean for you in terms of yield. And I know a lot of times we focus on population and making sure that our emerged population is at a desirable level, but we also need to think about the emergence and the uneven emergence that might exist, and knowing that cold weather like we're going to see here over the next couple days, and that's going to relate to cold soils and how that can affect our yield come harvest time. Uneven emergence in corn is concerning primarily due to the competitive nature of corn. Corn is very competitive, especially with other nearby corn plants. And if you have variable emergence, some plants that may have emerged later than others, those plants become competitive to the other nearby plants, and that can really affect the bottom line. And we often look at planting population or emerged population for determining whether or not we should replant. And while that's a great starting point, it's really not the entire story. We also need to be thinking about what the uniformity in emergence is. Corn germinates when the soil temperature reaches 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And while we're currently above that temperature right now, according to the data that came out yesterday, we just broke the 50-degree mark both Saturday and Sunday. But as you can see here, this is more of a clay loam type of soil. We're just sitting at about 39 degrees here. So it did cool down quite a bit just over the evening. And we don't anticipate that to increase here over the next several days, where we're seeing temperatures in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I want to caution you of the risk involved of planting the next couple days. I know a lot of people are talking about putting some corn in the ground middle of this week. We do have a potential to have some imbibitional chilling, which can cause some corkscrewing of the mesocotyl, and then leafing out underground of the seed, and then even some seed rot. So planting into soils that are too cool, they could delay germination and emergence, and this can greatly affect yield. This is a great study, extension publication number 344, effects of uneven seedling emergence in corn. And what I really like to focus on is right here. So if you look at this study, you can see that we have three different emergence date scenarios. So we have early emergence, which means that everything emerged just like it should. We have medium emergence timing, meaning that the plants emerged 1.5 weeks late. And then we have late emergence, where the plants emerged 3 weeks later. So if all plants emerge appropriately and they emerge on time, we have, and all at the same time, we can achieve up to 100% of the yield potential. But if the plants are delayed by 1.5 weeks and emerge 1.5 weeks later, but they all emerge at the same time, we can achieve 95% of the yield. But if the plants are delayed up to 3 weeks due to several different issues that could have happened, whether it's planting into dry soils and they never had the moisture they needed, or it was too cold, so they didn't germinate, it wasn't quite 50 degrees, which corn requires for germination, they may have emerged 3 weeks later. But more often than not, we find that plants don't always emerge at the exact same time, but those changes in emergence can vary in a minor way, or they can be drastic. Let's go to the fourth line down, and you pretend that half of your plants emerged on time, and then half of your plants emerged 1.5 weeks later. What we see here is that we're seeing a yield penalty, and we're only achieving about 91% of our yield. But more importantly, if you look at the data right to the right of that, those early plants, so 50% of the plants, are contributing 61% of the yield, and the plants that emerged 1.5 weeks later are contributing only 39% of the yield. So I think it's really important for us to look at these things, because we know that if we were to just wait and have plants that emerge later, the second line down, we're able to achieve 95% of the yield, because all the plants are emerging at the exact same time is more important than getting the plants to emerge early at a variable emergence and uneven emergence. So this study highlights that, and I really think it's important that we consider, when we're putting our corn in the ground over the next few weeks, that we check the moisture and the soil temperature of each individual farm, because those farms can vary drastically. If you have a lighter soil, there's more air moving through the soil, and the ambient temperature can affect the change in soil temperature more quickly. So I hope you learned a little bit today about uneven emergence and know some of the risks involved with planting into colder soils. And I hope you subscribe and stay tuned throughout the rest of the growing season as I bring you some timely agronomic updates throughout the 2022 growing season.